Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. I am Rob and Carter here today. How you doing, Carter?
I am good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's chilly outside.
It is. It looks it.
You know what? I don't mind it because we're in South Texas, Houston. I don't know. Are we South Texas? Are we
Southeast Texas?
Okay, I think we're kind of south.
Yeah.
We're on the Gulf.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I know a lot of people don't call Houston, South Texas. But anyway, it stays fairly warm here,
Yeah.
But this last week and into next week, we've got, I think the nation has a cold front going through, a lot of snow in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But to me, I kind of like what we're getting, highs in the, 40s, low 50s. Feels like the holiday season.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm kind of like you too. I mean, I don't mind a couple of gloomy days that are cold because, I don't know, it just kind of gets you in the spirit,
It does. I think it absolutely does. And I think you too, fans of soups and stews, and this just screams that kind of weather. But it also fits well for what we're doing today, the topic of, winter whiskeys and spirits. Just kind of talking about what we like this time of year.
Yeah.
Not that we won't drink these all year long, but when you get to this time of year, like a cocktail or whatever, there's just certain things that you're drawn to because the season just kind of makes you want to have that.
And I think your palate changes a little bit.
I think so.
I tend to drink, just as an example, this is not part of our list today, but from a cocktail perspective, I like adding the walnut bitters and drinking smoked drinks and things like that. I feel like that has more of a holiday cocktail or holiday feel to it. So I like stuff like that, and it's kind of from a food perspective. You don't eat a lot of soups in the summer. I will. I have no problem with it, but it's just something that's all right, it's wintertime. Let's eat some soup.
Yeah, you're making a great point because I might be somewhere in the summer and just see at a restaurant and they got a soup, sounds good. Oh, I'll try a cup of that. Yeah. But this time of year, I'm like, okay, it's soup season.
Right.
I'm thinking of things that I can make. So you're exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
And whiskeys, this is going to be just me and you talking about what we think, some categories, and then we'll dive into those categories of what are good whiskeys and spirits for that colder type weather.
Right.
Now, I will say that there might be some in our list. I think when you get to the holiday season, not the entire season, but there's times during the season when you're with friends or family that I think you drink nicer things. You just want to share nicer things. So some of our lists may include some nicer pours. That might be hard to find, but the point there would be if you got something good in your bar, there's no better time than the holidays when you're appreciating friends and family and being thankful, and Christmas with the sharing and giving to kind of crack some of these bottles and share them a little bit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I feel the same way. And I think it's kind of interesting that it kind of coincides with some of the allocated bottles start getting released in this time of year too.
It is allocated season, yeah.
And so you get an allocated bottle, you got people over for the holidays or whatever, and you're in the spirit. Let's try this. This is I was lucky enough to get this.
But I still have the rule that it's got to be somebody who appreciates it.
Oh yeah,
and wants to try it. Say they're drinking bourbon and they haven't had something. So it's a way to, expose them to something that might be hard to get again. I
mean, I love my mom, but I would never open a first growth Bordeaux.
Yeah,
for my mom.
Well, you're going really big. There's a lot of wines below that I wouldn't open for family members, just because it's no knock on them. They're just not into wine. Why open something that's supposed to be so appreciated, whiskey either?
Yeah.
When people just aren't going to get it. So.
See, on the flip side, my dad is a really big whiskey fan.
Yeah.
He's one of us, I guess. And
he's in the club.
He's in the club, and when he comes in for the holidays, I'm always like, oh man, let's try this, let's try that, all that kind of stuff. So it's fun, man. It's fun. So what do you start with on the list? I have one that's pretty obvious.
Well, I think there's one that just screams fall.
Yes.
And winter, and it's probably the same for both of us. It's my number one that I wrote down. I'll see, you can say it, and I'll see if it's the same as us, but I think it's probably going to be
rye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo.
it's like spice, it's spice, and you got a lot of that cinnamon notes and the Christmas notes and all that kind of stuff. And shoot, man, it's just it's one of those things. You like the Kentucky hug. I appreciate
Absolutely.
the Kentucky hug a little bit more in the wintertime than I do any other time. So,
and the nice thing about ryes is some of them don't have to be super high proofed, because a lot of time in the wintertime, I might want a little more proof, a little more punch, warm you up a little bit if you're sitting out back on a cold night around the fire or something. Rye, you don't necessarily have to do that because, to your point, it has that spice already.
Yeah.
And can kind of, that kind of supplements the higher proof with that spice in it.
The Pikeville rye is, what's the proof on that?
110. First one on my list.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, so 110, that's I mean, it's not 90, but.
And I'm going to say, it's not 90. One that's 90 is not on my list. Do you know what that is?
Michter's 10.
No. Is it 90? Oh, it is 90. Yeah, it's not on my list.
Sazerac rye?
Yes.
Yeah, not my favorite either.
Not my favorite. I mean, it gets a lot of love, the baby Saz.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's that good.
I don't either.
It's not horrible. But at the price point, I'd much rather have Old Forester at 100 proof.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or Rittenhouse rye.
Also on my list.
Heaven Hill product. What does that cost? Like $25?
Yeah, $28, $25, $30, depending on where you're at.
It's basically the rye behind most bars, that they use for their well.
So here's what I did. I listed in the rye category as my ryes that you can get that are on the shelf. The value rye being like Rittenhouse and Old Forester rye.
Yeah.
Then if you want to spend a little bit, that kind of mid-tier quality, say $40 to $55, somewhere in there, I put Russell's Reserve 10-year rye.
Okay.
I put Pikesville. Okay. And then rare breed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of, that's
Is there
that's
anyone
all.
you would have I'm missing?
No, I mean, anything else is kind of like allocated. Like I like the E.H. Taylor rye, but you can't find it hardly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
now, I will tell you mentioned that. So I had 3 for my kind of, if you have a special bottle and you want to share with somebody, my 3 that I own are the Thomas Handy.
Yep.
E.H. Taylor rye, and then what we'll pour in a few minutes, the Michter's barrel strength ryes.
Yeah.
Those are 3 just fantastic rye. And the Michter's, I'll say the barrel strength, but also the toasted rye.
The toasted rye is really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Speaking of turkey, I haven't visited this in a long time, but do you ever just buy their 101 rye?
I've never had their 101 rye or their, what is it, an 86 rye that they have as well?
They do. I think they have that.
Yeah. I've never tried either one. Never even tried them. Have you?
It's been a long time. I feel like maybe we should at some point in time and just.
I agree with you. I think kind of shame on us for not, because we are, you recently have come out of the closet.
Oh, yeah.
I've been for a long time a big wild turkey fan, so I don't know why we haven't at least tried those.
Yeah, I think.
But I got to say, I don't have a lot of friends that have it. I have a lot of friends who have a nice collection, but that's not a wild turkey bottle. When I see people say they love wild turkey, 101 for sure is in almost everybody's bar.
Yeah.
But that rye 101, I don't see a whole lot.
It's interesting.
That is very interesting.
But I know that Dave Jennings talks about that. Talks about the rye and liking particularly some of the dusty rye and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And I think that they have now. I might be wrong, and somebody can just call me out on it. But I think it's a pretty low rye mash bill that turkey has. So
it's like 51 to 53%.
I'm not exactly sure.
Because the rare breed is 52.
Yeah, so it's got to be very similar.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something we need to try sometime.
I think that's one we definitely should try. And I would, we haven't done a rye blind in a while. I'd love to do that with like Rittenhouse, Old Forester, Wild Turkey 101, and we'll find one more in that kind of price range.
Yeah.
And proof that kind of similar. That'd be a fun one to do.
I think some of the Whistle Pig picks that were coming out, a few years ago.
Those
were really super good.
You'd get a 16-year-old rye labeled a 10-year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I like
Miss those
that.
days.
But I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, I'll tell you, one that doesn't get a lot of love, Knob Creek rye, I think is
The 100 proof?
The 115.
They have the 115 and then they have the one. Do they have 100?
I don't think they have 100 proof. I
Is it
think
just
it's all
the
115.
Okay.
Now, I might be wrong, but
You're probably right.
actually, I think they do have 100 proof. They have 100 proof, and
That's
then they
what I
have the
thought.
115, which is the store picks, I believe. And then they have the cask strength. The cask strength is really quite good. I guess another rye I'd mention is the Willet 4-year or whatever. I think that
4-year. It's funky. It's different.
It's
not
different.
your classic rye profile.
I don't know. I like it. You
I
know,
like it.
That one's not bad.
It's one I can pick out in a lineup pretty easy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
I figured for you, yeah.
But I don't mind that one. Actually, you know, it's funny. Like thinking about all the ryes that are out there, there's very few I don't like.
Yeah. And yeah, they have a Knob Creek 100.
Yeah, I thought
Like
I
28
thought so.
bucks.
Yeah,
So it's right in that same.
right.
I think that's the one we should include.
Yeah.
So we do the Old Forester, the Rittenhouse,
Yeah, and the
Wild
knob.
Turkey Rye, and the Knob.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, but I think about rye. Even have you ever had any of that Jack Daniel's rye? Not the special stuff. I'm talking about just like your regular. I think it's like 94 proof or something like that. It's got the red label on it, or kind of.
I think I have
crimson
one that's a
type of-
pick by HBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've tried that.
That's a pretty good. Those are
I
actually.
remember
pretty
liking
good.
that.
So yeah, I mean,
Because that's kind of the gangster bottles because they get the big chain around them.
yes, I like the gangsta bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the jewelry going on.
But yeah, it's funny like that we're talking about this, and I'm thinking like, what rye can I not stand? Like, what is the? I mean, I'm sure there's something, but
We probably just haven't had it.
yeah,
I mean, we're bourbon and whiskey and rye fans, so it's kind of hard to find something unless it's just
yeah,
awful. It's hard to screw it up. I think.
yeah,
I mean, just where you just hate it.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a bourbon that I just. Well, there are some bourbons.
There's some
but
bourbons that just
most bourbons I hate because it's just doesn't have any like structure to it or anything. It's just kind of falls very flat.
So should we give the people what they want?
What's in the glass?
Yeah.
I think we ought to pour something, and you can tell us about what's in the glass.
Do you want me to pour this first or that, or do you want to do
Which
that?
which one do you want to do?
I
Let's do
don't-
this one. It's lower proof.
Yeah.
So we'll get close to, if we don't,
Yeah.
do a little bottle kill here with. This is from 2016. So this is the Michter's Barrel Strength Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. Comes in at 57.5% alcohol, which is 115 proof.
Yep.
And this is thought of as one of the best bottles that had been out for Michter's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
So
cracking the cork.
think about what you were doing in 2016 and how the world has changed these days.
Has it changed much? All right, we'll just
Is that a real question?
we'll just drink bourbon.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Remember that whole thing where we had to wear face masks and stuff?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to remember it either.
All right, that's a little bottle kill there.
Nice.
So
So this one, I'm going to give my, expert
making an analysis. Yeah, there we
you know.
go. When's the last time you had a sip of the 16? Does your wife share with you? That's the question. No, it's the toasted that she likes. Is it both?
She likes the toasted the most.
Okay.
So
Oh my gosh, this is.
I haven't had this in a long time, probably a couple years. Man, the nose is just beautiful on
Yeah,
it.
it is.
It's just sweet and like a hint of spice. It's almost like one of those.
I mean, it's Christmassy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's like it's. You know what it smells like? It smells almost like somebody's baking like ginger snaps or something like that. Just oh my gosh, that is so good. All right. Yeah, that has a little bit of an orange thing too going on.
Yeah.
Rob's over here taking the perfect picture.
Attempting to,
yes. He is a picture whiz for sure.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
You're better than me.
But I wouldn't go that far either.
Oh, man. All right, so cheers. Let's give this a try.
Definitely. And, hey, we have some fancy glasses.
We do. We have these nice little... What are these? Are they like some kind of...
I don't know. We got them at the Whiskey Social.
Yeah. They're like meant for something else, though, aren't they? Like they're...
Oh, my God. Well, sometimes you hate to see a bottle go, but... Because you ain't going to get that again. You might find a bottle somewhere, but very hard.
There's some places you're going to pay for it.
As years go by, that particular offering becomes tougher and tougher to find. But.
Yeah. So to explain the glasses we are drinking out of, so this courtesy of the Houston Whiskey Social, we've got this nice little, what appears to be a Glencairn-ish shaped glass on a stem, with like almost like a wine bottom kind of looking thing. Going on.
I almost feel like this is a fortified wine glass.
I that's what I was thinking, maybe like a sherry glass or something like that. Madeira, Anyway, I think it's an appropriate glass for this podcast, though, because it almost feels like we are combining wine and whiskey right now.
Oh, no doubt.
But, man, I got to go in for the second sip on this thing, too. My God. You get that orange peel type thing going on?
Yes. And I like that.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I get that on the nose as well, though.
I do, too.
I just don't know. Man. That is so good, Carter.
That is really good. Thank you for killing that bottle with me. I'll have to return the favor.
We're going to kill this bottle?
We're not going to kill this bottle, but yeah, we would have a long night. I can tell you I would be not productive tomorrow morning if I killed this next bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what are you thinking? What's your next thing on your list? I'll tell you what mine is.
Okay.
And it's not a whiskey, actually.
Oh, really?
So I don't know why, but I think cognac when I think wintertime.
Okay, I was building up to that, so we're on the same page. It's on my list, and I'm going to kind of put these two together, cognac and Armagnac.
Okay, yeah, same. I would kind of
similarly made.
Not the same things, but
similar, very similar that they can,
they're made from grapes.
Yeah.
So, I just really think that cognac is just hits the spot.
So here's my question to you. Do you prefer cognac or do you prefer Armagnac?
So I think I like cognac better. Slightly.
So you and I are different there.
So I like Armagnac, or how do you say it? Armagnac? Or
I say Armagnac, so I'm sure I say it wrong, but I say every name of any location, beverage, wine, spirit, whatever from another country, I butcher it, so I own that.
So the reason I say this, and this is just I've had more consistent, good tasting Armagnacs, but when I've had special experiences, I think cognac wins.
Oh, really?
As far as you just go, whoa, that was ridiculous. I've tried Louis before, and I was like,
well,
okay,
I haven't. See, I'm not baller.
You could be there.
I'm trying.
You're trying. If we could get a bigger following, we could get some of these bottles. And maybe not have to pull into our own pocketbook every time.
Yeah, we do that now. So these great bottles are not gifted to us. We work to find them, and then we work to pay for them.
Working on the Patreon.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. But, I mean, I like both of them, so I can't really say, oh, man, I hate Armagnac.
And I will tell you that I'm not that experienced in either one of those to rattle off, 4 or 5 different producers. It's something that I've gotten into in the last year.
Yep.
That I really enjoy, but still don't know enough about to try to speak intelligently about what's out there, what's good, what's not.
I could definitely use more education on it.
Yeah.
but just from what I've had, I think I like the cognac better. But, what can I say, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is the thing that I want to mention. Here in Houston, and particularly the holiday season, it's probably a lot more enjoyable than other parts of the world and even up north, right? Like, we have a mild winter, We
have winter?
Yeah, well, if you want to call it winter.
Winter to me is snow falls and stays on the ground for a little while.
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't have that.
We just have extended fall.
Yeah, extended fall with a few cold fronts blowing through.
Yeah. So
you played golf yesterday.
In the rain. Oh, God. Well, you got to really want it.
Yeah.
when it's 48 and raining.
You also waved the white flag and went to a distillery.
Yeah, we did. We did. Hey, I had one of the best chips of my entire freaking life yesterday.
Did you really?
Oh my God. Like, it's totally not whiskey related, but there could, well, it is because I went and drank whiskey afterwards.
Right after golf.
know. But oh my gosh. It was a par 3. Just didn't, I just didn't get it there. It was just, that's what she said. I may have fatted it a little bit, whatever. It was in the right direction, but, anyway, probably about, I don't know, 50 foot out and just a chip from a really crazy lie and hold it out. That was,
really? You hold it? So you made a birdie?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so that to me, that is that's why you go play golf, is for shots.
So when somebody asks you, hey, what's the best golf shot you've hit? That's going to be in the list of ones you mention.
Yeah, because that's just.
Have you ever holed out before?
No,
never.
No hole in ones.
No, not hole in one, but like hold out, like not on the green, but you chipped it.
Yeah. Maybe, but it was like a fringe thing or something like that. I'm pretty close to the. So
I made an albatross once on a par 5. So I was on my second shot, about 207 yards away, and I hit a little 5-iron and made it. My greatest shot in El Paso, Texas, at a course called Painted Dunes. It's a desert golf course. That's my greatest golf moment on a par 5, making an albatross.
Okay, so this is interesting. So, okay, wow, you must have gotten some good roll on that too.
Well, actually, it wasn't like, nobody said pretty. Nobody said I hit it right on. It checked up, spun, and just went right in.
Okay.
I was a little off to the right on my shot, and in the desert courses, there's these mountains and hills right by the green, and I actually hit the green, rolled up on this hill, and came back down onto the green.
Hey.
And 40 feet later, it just kind of curved and went nicely right into that hole. So it wasn't like, I hit it, 10 feet past and spun her back in, or hit it, 8 feet short, and it just checked up and released right. No, but it still went in on my second shot.
Hey, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, that was all luck. I mean, I'm not going to ever tell you I was good, but.
So I dropped the line on my playing partner yesterday from I stole it from Mr. Fat Perez.
Okay.
I hold that one out and I said, that's pretty good if you like perfect.
Did you Euro step though?
Yeah, I didn't Euro step. I really should have.
Yeah.
But puddle step yesterday.
Puddle step.
But anyway, okay. So yeah, cognac, and the reason I bring this up is that we have a kind of a mild winter. I really like cognac in a cigar pairing way better than I do whiskey in a cigar pairing.
I don't know that I have enough experience in cigars with either one of those to have a real good opinion. My cigar and favorite right now is the cigar and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I've gotten more into like bourbons and ryes while I'm cooking and prepping.
Yeah.
And then we go to wine.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big wine lover.
We got to try that wine and cigar pairing.
We do need to try that. We need to figure out what might be good to pair with that.
Yeah.
So after wine, now I've gotten to where I almost prefer a cognac Armagnac over like going back to whiskey.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Or even like a rum. Like that,
even a rum.
That's
which,
one that
since you mention it, it's on my list.
For winter.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think you get some of those spicier and kind of those notes that still kind of remind you of Christmas.
I think you're right, and I mean, particularly when you're talking about like an aged rum, this can be a very good winter drink. I actually agree,
and a little bit higher proof one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, overproof action is always good. Like for sure. I think rum falls into the category.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'll drink it during the summer too, just because it's got a lot of sweetness to it. But
I'm again, rum is something I've gotten into recently, so I'm not but it's something that when I drink it, it points me to, the holiday. I think, spice and bruised apples and things like this that just make me think that way, and I just think it fits for me, for my palate.
And I'll also say this: rum goes great in a dessert.
Well, there you go. And a lot of Christmas desserts.
A lot of Christmas desserts. Yeah. So,
Now we've made that connection.
Yes, now it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I put on my list here is...
well, before you go there, I got to ask you, because I had on mine, bourbon. Did you put bourbon on
Yeah,
there?
it's on the list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on the list. But I want to finish our pour here, and then we can talk about bourbon, because what I've got in front of
you have a strategy.
Is applicable. Another thing that I really like is finished whiskeys in the wintertime.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't have that.
So, like, if you think about, like, your High West double rye finished in, like, a sherry cask or something
High
like
West
that.
Midwinter's Night Dram.
Yeah, that's another...
Easy to find.
They just sit on the shelf.
Yeah.
But, like, some of these, like, even like I had
But it's got to be a darker kind of, like, I wouldn't put Angel's Envy in that category.
I would for their cask strength store pick.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've had any of these. It's a bit of a spend, and some people will probably think like, I don't know, $100, for cask strength Angel's Envy. I don't know. But they do the regular selection, which is the port wine finish, in a cask strength version.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So all those cask strength picks, store picks, are all port wine finished.
See, and a port wine, to me, is perfect for a winter finished whiskey. That might be my favorite finish.
That's great.
As much as I said I like rum, I just said that, now I'm contradicting myself, because I'm going, a rum finish isn't something I necessarily want in the winter. I'd rather have that port. Yeah. Or I'd even go like with a Cabernet Sauvignon finish something, or something like that.
So this is one that where I'd kind of have a different opinion. So for instance, I really like the Angel's Envy Rye. I think it's really good.
Caribbean rum cask.
Yeah,
that's finished.
And I think that it fits in the category of cold weather. It also fits in the category of warm weather for me, too.
It's a rye.
So it's spicy, but it's mellowed out with the Caribbean cask.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
I have to try it again. I've only tried it a couple times, and it's been a while. I think Chris Francis shared that with us.
So I'll tell you the thing about that whiskey. It's sweet. So you have to just know that going in there. It's sweeter than what you're probably used to on a finished whiskey. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Okay.
But to me, it's not a have a whole bunch of them type of drink.
Yeah.
But have one and you're just like, yeah, I really like this.
I think that's a great category. I didn't have it, and I wished I would have thought of it as well, so I could say I had that too, but I didn't. I think that's a great category, finished whiskeys.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
It kind of falls across almost all of the spectrum here. I just put on my list BTAC.
Well, now you're getting into bourbon.
Yeah, I'm getting into all of them, because we've got rye in there as well.
2 of them.
Yeah. So
there's 5 offerings. And again, for those who don't know, BTAC is the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Yeah.
BATC. Very, very hard to find.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have 3 of the 5. I've never had the 17-year Eagle, and I've never had the 18-year Sazerac. But I've got a William LaRue Weller. I've got a George T. Stagg, and I've got a Thomas H. Handy.
I've got only a George T. Stagg and Handy. And I do have this isn't BTAC, but I do have a Van Winkle Lot B that I won in a raffle.
Humble brag.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
I
paid
thought we were
retail.
talking. I thought we were talking BTAC, and now you're throwing out Pappy.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I didn't even put that on the list because, like, to me, it's like, that's so. Everybody knows what Pappy is. Everybody knows when it comes out. Whatever. But I do think BTAC for me just hits home because all of the stuff is pretty proofy except for the SAS 18, which you don't see that one as much.
That and the Eagle Rare.
The Eagle Rare is 101, which is.
Man, I wish they would make Eagle Rare 101.
Yeah. We've been told that they were going to do that, but then they didn't do that.
Yeah. I will say, though, Eagle Rare, we're kind of getting off topic, but I'll get right back. At 90 proof, a 10-year is still a great whiskey.
I had it the other night, and I loved every minute
Not
of
a
it.
ton of 10-year. And by the way, we'll be having an episode coming out where we are actually picking a barrel of Eagle Rare for a local liquor store. I'm going to do it on an episode. And
Yes, we are.
Leo's going to join us.
Yep. Friend of the show, Leo.
Yeah, so that'd be fun to do.
So yeah, and the reason I say the BTAC is because all of them are pretty proofy, and all of them are pretty interesting. And a lot of times they're a little spicy, with that proof point and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, GTS is like hit you in the face, generally speaking.
Right.
William LaRue Weller, just to me, the best thing that Buffalo Trace makes.
I agree. I'd prefer to have that over George T. Stagg.
Depends on the release, but yes. I mean,
just in general, yeah.
Generally speaking, yes.
Yeah.
The Handy is very hit or miss, but that's what she said. Yeah.
I got you on that one.
Oh man,
I got you.
Okay. So Yana and I the other night, my wife,
The old shackle.
the shackle.
One of them.
Okay, so we wanted to.
You're never gonna live that down.
No. We just wanted to, watch a stupid movie on Netflix or whatever, and you know how you do. And we're like, let's watch something funny, and I'm like peeling through Netflix, and I'm like, I haven't watched Wedding Crashers in years.
That's a good one.
And so we put that on. And I'm just you're talking about the Thomas H. Handy. I'm thinking of the dinner table scene.
Underneath.
Yeah.
She's a little aggressive.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite. That's a classic.
One of the funniest movies ever made. So funny.
I totally agree.
But with the BTAC, I don't know. And you just think of it. It comes out around this time. You people get excited about it. And it kind of just falls into the whole like spectrum of things that we're talking about. But anyway, that was one that was on my list.
Well, I say because you brought up BTAC, we dive into the bourbon. I mentioned bourbon.
Yep.
And let's dive into some of our favorites. And what I did in that category, I try not to go too crazy with what's really hard to find. Try to just list a few things that I really enjoy. And again, I said it on the rye part of this. It stays the same with bourbon. In the wintertime, I like something with a little more punch to it. So 110 proof or above.
Yeah.
I think on a winter night, this is more, when you're cold. You're a little chilly. You want to warm up. You're sitting outside on a cold night around a fire. You want something with a little more proof. So I stay that way on my bourbons. And you want me to list the ones I...
Yeah, just rattle off a few of them.
So I had... I'm a big fan of Rare Breed, 116.
It's on my list, too.
The Elijah Craig barrel proofs.
Yep.
Or store picks, because those come out now.
Yeah.
Which are really good. Jack Daniel's barrel proof.
Me too.
I think underrated.
I agree. Agreed.
If you can find a Stag Junior, that's the one hard one I threw on there. I think enough people know somebody who might have a Stag Junior. That, it's that holiday giving, sharing type of year. So maybe they'll I'll definitely share. I'll share with somebody.
Oh yeah.
And then my last one is what we're about to jump into. So I'm not even going to say it. I'll let you kind of talk about that as we get ready to pour it.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit some of the ones that I like. Rare Breed, definitely. I like a higher. I don't know. Like that's the reason you didn't bring up Four Roses, but that's one reason I like.
I'm going to leave it for you.
Yes, I understand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's I appreciate you opening the door.
Yeah,
I'm going to walk right through it, and Four Roses. Like I like the B recipe, but like really everything that they have is pretty high rye.
I was going to say, the E recipes are all still 20% rye.
And I really like K's because they tend to have
Spice.
a good bit of spice. So we've got a bottle here that was from a 4-share event. It's for a charity in Tennessee. Shout out to all the people who contributed to that charity and attended the event and everything. And unfortunately, I could not attend the event this year because I have a little one, and it was very close to when she was born. So that just was not going to happen with Mama. But anyway, I was lucky enough to get a bottle of the OESK, and I've been threatening to open it for a while, and I'm just trying to think of a good time to do it. So I'm going to open it for my good friend Rob Clark here, and
this isn't just from any tier or anything, too. I'm looking at the front of the label. This is 123.6 proof.
Yep,
and comes from tier 6, which is the highest tier.
Yeah, not to be a tier snob or anything. That's a thing, kind of, sort of. I don't really necessarily believe in the tier thing, but I will say this: there are some good picks that come from the 6th tier, and
I would say the only thing I'm not a huge tier guy either, but I would just say more often than not, if you have a 6th tier something, it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, generally speaking,
there's some bad ones, but usually pretty good.
Some things shine better at tier 6 than others, and I do.
Tier 5 is great. Tier 4 is great. You can get some great tier 2, but.
And really, it's very run dependent and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, honestly, it's
people are going, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Anyway, listen to our Four Roses episode. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah. So let's give this a try. I mean, this when you want to say dark, this would fall into the category of dark.
Yeah, some heat kissed that barrel.
Yeah,
yeah.
Man, speaking of ones, talk about something that's really good. That's speaking of heat kissing a barrel and Christmas or holiday season or whatever. That Coy Hill from Jack Daniels. Woo! That is some good stuff right there.
I still don't have a new one, but I still have last year's quite a bit in an extra bottle. So that's a great pour, and that's one that I like to break out. I didn't mention it because it's just so hard to get.
Yeah. It's allocated.
But it's one I have, so I will be breaking that out at some point during the holiday season to sip on.
And now for something totally different. Oh, boy.
That is totally different.
And totally lovely. I mean, it's like candy on the nose.
Yeah.
It's almost like confectionery. I was thinking it would come off more like dark, kind of, but...
Okay, this is 123.6, and you can stick your nose in and just enjoy this.
Oh, yeah.
This is, the alcohol in here is balanced very well.
Yes, it is. We're going to have ourselves a mellow moment right now.
Look at that color.
I know, isn't that great?
Sorry.
That's fantastic.
Look at the color. But yeah, it's really dark and...
Got the subtle... You get the spice notes out of it on the nose, for sure. I do, at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you get some of that, classic Four Roses kind of thing going on. But man, my gosh.
And this is a pick, and we're talking about Four Roses picks as being some of our favorites. You can absolutely pick up, the small batch select is fantastic, and just a regular single barrel offering of the OBSV. It's 100 proof, but still very, very good. But we are just kind of into the picks. And we're very spoiled. I mean, we have, I have a lot of picks personally. I've been a Four Roses nut for a few years now. We have a lot of friends that have been on this show that are big Four Roses nuts that are tapped into some of the nerdiest parts of the community. So we are really, really big Four Roses fans. All right, dude. Have you tasted it yet?
No.
Oh my! Prepare to be just happy. I mean
what the hell?
That is a well put together whiskey right there.
That is
the flavor, the balance, the way it's just on the palate is so nice. On the finish, it's so nice. It doesn't beat you up at 123 proof. This is phenomenal.
That is one of the better Four Roses picks that I've ever tried.
I would tend to agree with you. This is fantastic. A lot of, inexperienced whiskey drinkers might call this, and to me, it's not a bad term, but smooth.
It is.
And smooth meaning it doesn't, burn you up. I think that's how I would, translate smooth in the whiskey world. It doesn't beat up your palate, either on the palate or on the finish.
I agree, but I'll tell you this, it's interesting as hell.
Yes.
Do you taste that chocolate on there?
Oh yeah, and you get it on the nose. Now that you just said that, I was getting more of the spice and a little bit of citrus, like orange, on there, and now you said chocolate, and it just kind of.
A lot of times I don't get chocolate out of Four Roses either. That's just not a note that really happens.
It's a barrel influence there.
Yeah. And did you like the viscosity and the mouthfeel on this one? It is just so oily.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What's the age on this? 10 years something?
10 years, 2 months.
Yeah, I figured it was around 10 years.
We're in the sweet spot in bourbon. Hey, I got a question for you. I'm not sure what this would go for in secondary, but I would stack this up. We're talking about 10-year bourbons, right?
To Daryl's pick?
No. No. I'm going to talk about a different bourbon. And that anyway, we'll move on. So, Old Rip Van Winkle. So it's a 10-year product, sought after. What does it go for in secondary now? $900 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would buy that, which I don't know any Four Roses pick. There are a few that go over $500 on secondary, but not a ton of them.
I would say this is going to be the $350 to $450 all day long.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. But nor would I put this bottle on secondary. I want to drink this.
Yeah.
But
your point being, why would you chase
Old Rip for
which is either 107 or 90 proof if you get to 12 year.
Yeah. Oh well, the Lot B is a different story, but yeah.
But it's still Old Rip.
Yeah. But I'd say, yeah. I mean,
but you're right, for 10 year to 10 year proof, just complexity of the whiskey. I've not had a lot of the Old Rip 10 year.
Yeah.
Had a couple. It never blew me away. This is something that is memorable.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be. We're going to go through this bottle slowly.
Yeah,
it's going to be like your 16 Michters. We're going to wait a few years to finish this one off.
But I'm guessing you have a couple friends who have this as well.
I do, but I think this was pretty limited to particular. The people who attended. I think.
Didn't they attend? Those two guys.
Oh yeah, they did.
So you got friends here who have some.
Oh my gosh,
that is fantastic.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is so stupid. How good this is.
Anyway, if you guys can't tell, we got a little sidetracked with how good this whiskey is. We're talking about bourbons on our list.
I mean, this even has some of that orange peel. It's almost like a chocolate orange peel type thing going on. Golly. All right. We did get distracted. All right. Let's.
So I mentioned rare breed, Elijah Craig barrel proof. I don't know that I said Old Forester barrel proof, but I had that as well. I think those are some good picks.
So, Old Forester doesn't really have barrel proof, but they. I mean, for the
single
picks,
barrel pick, yeah.
But what I would say for their off the shelf offering, I'd say 1920.
I was going to say the same thing. 115 proof.
That would be a real good one. Actually, another one that I was thinking of, and I don't know if you were kind of thinking of the same thing. Russell's picks.
110 proof. Those are fantastic. Even if it's not a pick, I had Russell's Reserve down because just the standard 10-year is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I mean, you can start talking about all the allocated bottles that are out there. Even the Four Roses Small Batch LE is a great bottle. I mean, if you can find it.
Yeah, now you're going to get crazy.
Now you go crazy. Parker's releases and, some of these other things, But anyway, I really, really, really man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but man, I have been turned to the dark side, and I love rare breed now.
Yeah, isn't that good? And rumor is, we'll see if it ever happens, but rumor is it's going to change fairly soon. I don't want to say soon, but
barrel entry
in the future, near future. Yeah, and I'm not sure about barrel entry, but the what they barrel it at, because it's 116.8 now, and somebody we know, that it should be between the 118 and 120 is what they think it's going to be when they make that change.
Interesting.
That's why I've put 2 or 3 away for the old dusty closet.
I really want to try. We need to figure this out. We need to get a show, just pool our resources or something like that, and get one of the rare breed uncut, unfiltered, like the Traveler's Edition.
Okay.
The one that's.
I agree. I just think we know somebody who has one.
Do we?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we need to have them on the show so we can try it. Because I've never tried that, and that sounds very intriguing to me.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a liter.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've got some liters of some old 101s. God, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just really is.
Turkey steering you down.
Oh, love it. I want the turkey looking right at me.
Yeah, you find a bottle that the turkey's looking at, you buy it.
Yeah, you buy that one.
Yeah.
Dust it off and buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got on your list?
You have anything else in the bourbon category that you would mention? I think the 1920 was a great mention. I think Knob Creek should go in there.
Knob Creek, yeah.
They have 120 proof, which is, we used to love the picks, but they stopped that a couple years ago. But their 120 offering is still fantastic.
Well, even they have store picks that are 9 years now.
Well, they have store picks that are 8, 10, and 11 is your choice. You get 3 barrels. One's an 8-year, one's a 10-year, one's an 11. And we picked the 11 last year.
Oh, you're thinking of Heaven Hill.
I am thinking of Heaven Hill. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
No, I'm talking about Knob Creek.
They still have the picks 9-year, and they're all 120.
Yes.
And 9 years still solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I went right back to Heaven Hill.
So I got an oddball one.
Okay.
And I'm not an expert, and I want somebody who's listening to this program who is an expert on this subject to contact us and
do an episode. Okay.
Scotch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I knew that might come up because same here. I don't know enough about it. You and I both are in that same boat, I think.
So
I'd love to learn.
I like a sherry finished Scotch. I think that's it.
So many Scotches are finished.
Yes.
Which gets back to a finished whiskey in the wintertime is great. And here, neither one of us have Scotch on our list that we're recommending because we don't drink it that much. We don't know enough about it.
I need a good education on it.
I do too.
I really do. Because I feel like it's going to be like champagne. Like for me, I've always, going into a future episode, honestly, but so I've always liked champagne. My wife and I both have always liked champagne, but we never got into the... So I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is I'd like to get... I like Scotch. I think we both, the Scotches we've tried, really
4 years
liked.
ago, I would have said, no, I don't. Now, when people pour it for me, I'm at their house or something, I'm like, even peated for that.
Yeah. Some of the peated stuff. So we need to find somebody who listens to this show who knows a ton of stuff about Scotch to come on and educate us more about Scotch.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to do that.
Because honestly, there's a reason this stuff has been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a spirit that is widely popular across the world.
Yeah,
totally.
So,
and I think most people who are into Scotch will probably kind of groove with us pretty well.
I think so. How could you not?
Yeah. So that was one that was on my list, Scotch. And really, I mean, that was kind of my thing.
I have one more category that I plugged in, and I think it's a winter drink, and I think it's an after-dinner drink, and it has some spirit in it, so I kind of fudged and said it counts, which is the fortified one.
I figured you were going to go there.
The sherries, the Madeiras, those kind of...
I guess that kind of, You have to you have to be more specific when you're talking about spirits. If we were going to talk about if fortified wine counted, I would put it on there.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I wasn't trying to pull one over on you. I just was
I get it.
That's why I put spirits, because rums and cognacs and armagnacs. But I also thought, well, there's brandy in this, so
Yeah, brandy is
it's kind of. It's a cognac or an armagnac kind of thing. So
yeah, sure. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like porter, sherry, Madeira, like any of that kind of stuff is
tawny ports,
man. Oh, yeah, that's some good stuff right there.
That's another category that I think is good year round, but just in the wintertime, it's got it gets a little bit oxidized and it has those nut kind of flavors, and so anyway. It's one that I wanted to throw out that should be considered as a winter pour. If you haven't gotten into it, and I haven't a lot, I'm just kind of breaking into this, fortified wines kind of category. So I'm learning. So I'm not going to talk with a lot of experience or knowledge, but where I've dipped my toes in the pool, I like it, and I'm ready to jump in. So
yeah. We need somebody who knows a lot about that too.
Would love to do an episode on fortified wines.
Yeah,
absolutely. So if somebody listens and loves that category, reach out to us on our social media, or you can email us at foodwinewhiskyiyob@gmail.com. But yeah, that'd be cool to do an episode on that as well.
Yeah, man, for sure. So
all right, man, fun episode. Any last minute? I forgot this one. Anything you can think of off the top of your head that we forgot about?
Yeah, I wanted to mention one thing on the rum thing, and this is why another reason I think rum falls really well in this category.
Okay.
It goes in a lot of holiday drinks.
Oh,
Cocktails. Yeah, so like you've got like a hot buttered rum, or you've got like I know that there's an eggnog that's made in Puerto Rico. I'm going to butcher the name. It's called Coquito, I think,
That's
or something.
What we do, dude. We butcher names.
It's like coconut milk and rum and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that it goes well in cocktails, or in holiday drinks.
Yeah, because I think it just has that kind of spicy profile that you associate with, cinnamon and apples and that kind of stuff in Christmas.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, fun episode, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour. All right, I'm gonna finish
Happy holidays, everybody.
I may ask you for more of this pour.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty freaking good.